What's up guys, Garrett with SelfTaughtDev. Today we are going to talk about how to actually learn to code. A common mistake I see a lot of people make, and something I've seen on Reddit lately, is people posting saying, hey, I've been studying for 1, 2, 3 months and I can't build projects. What am I doing wrong, or am I messing up? And usually what they're doing wrong is they'll just watch a video course on like HTML and CSS, they get a certificate, and then they're like, all right, cool, I know HTML and CSS. And like while they had the course playing, they were just like messing around on Facebook or scrolling through Instagram. They weren't really paying attention. And then they'll go on to JavaScript, watch a little course on JavaScript, not actually code anything. They just watch some videos, and then they're like, they get a certificate and they're like, all right, cool, I know JavaScript now. And then they go and sit down and they try to build something, and they're like, I have no idea how to do this. I didn't learn anything. And it's kind of like any class in school, right? Like if you're in math class, the teacher's up at the whiteboard or the chalkboard explaining stuff. You're like, all right, cool, I get this. I understand. Solving 3 variable equations seems easy. I don't need to take notes. And then you get home and you try to do the homework and you're like, I have no idea how to do this. Why didn't I take notes? And that would probably be my first tip. When you're going through the courses, make sure you're taking notes and treating it like an actual class. That's what I did when I was doing Team Treehouse. I had like a literal spiral notebook and I would take notes. I would say, all right, this is an H tag. This is how you write it. This is what it's for. This is a P tag. This is what it's for. And it might seem super basic since it was just HTML, but like when you're new, like that's important stuff to do. Like you don't know anything about code. I mean, you got to start it's like you're in kindergarten. You're starting from ground zero. You got to build the foundation and work up from there. So take notes. That does 2 things. One, it gives you stuff to refer back to when you build the project, so you're not just sitting there lost. You're like, I kind of remember writing that down, and you can dig through your notes, find where you wrote that down, and implement it. 2, writing it down helps drill it down in your memory, so repetition helps learn it more. I think David Goggins says whenever he has to learn new stuff, he basically gets a notebook and will just write down everything that he has to learn. Like he was going through like the diver manual, and it was like this 1,000-page manual, and he just had to like write it out in a notebook over and over and over again, and he just learned it through sheer repetition, which is crazy. I feel like there's better ways to learn stuff than sheer repetition like that, but it does help a little bit. Plus, having the notes to refer back to is going to help you make progress in your project faster. Now, the next thing we have to do is start trying to get this, like, we have to make your brain know that this information is important and say, okay, I need to remember this stuff. So after you finish the video course, I want you to take out like a new piece of paper and just write down everything you can remember about the course that you learned, and try to fill out like a whole page or 2 pages with what you learned from the course. This is gonna make you dig through your memory. This is kind of like another repetition tool, and it'll just help reinforce the knowledge you learned and get your brain to say, okay, this is important. I need to remember this. Now, thirdly, you got your notes. You've got like a page of what you learned in the course. You have to actually try to build something applicable to the course, right? So like, let's say you watch a little HTML and CSS course. Well, what's a good thing to do after that? Build Google's homepage. So this is like a nice, easy, maybe not easy if you're just starting out. If you're just starting out, this is probably gonna be hard. Probably gonna take like 8-10 hours to do. But you've got like a little nav bar up here. You've got some content in the center, and then you've got a little footer down here. So not super complex. All you need to do with it is HTML and CSS, right? So go forth and actually build a project after you have completed the course. It's going to be hard. You're going to struggle. You're going to be banging your head against the wall a lot, but just refer to your notes. If you can't find it in your notes, or if the course didn't cover it, just Google it. Say, like, let's say we're doing the footer, and you Google like, hey, how do I get something to stick to the bottom of the page? And you just Google that, because that's actually a big part of being a software developer. Like a part of it is knowing the code. That's important, definitely. But another part of it is having good Google research skills and having the ability to acquire knowledge rapidly, because technology is always changing and growing. So you're always going to have to learn new stuff. Like if you get into this, you need to know that you're always going to be learning new stuff. This isn't like a static thing where you can just go through the courses and learn stuff for 8 months and then you don't have to learn again. You can just have a comfy 6-figure job and never have to learn more stuff. No, you have to keep learning. That's an important part of this. Another thing is targeted practice. So like, let's say you just went through, you've done like some basic HTML and CSS stuff, and then you're like, all right, I want to do some more advanced CSS stuff. You go through like a CSS grid course. Well, maybe building Google's homepage isn't the best place to practice the CSS grid stuff, because this isn't like, it's kind of a grid, but there's better projects that would fit CSS grid more. Like if we go like try to build like a photo grid, like something like this where they're different sizes, or maybe just start off with one where it's like just square images across the screen and they're all the same size, and then rebuild the project and have it where they're different sizes like this. Like maybe have a big one across the screen like that, two next to each other, and then two different sizes next to like each other like that. Try to build something that is applicable to what you just learned, which might seem pretty obvious, but just want to point it out. So another thing is make sure you focus when you're watching the videos. Don't just have like the videos going on the screen and have Instagram scrolling on your phone, right? You want to make sure you have single-minded focus on the videos to make sure you get the most out of that content. I think this is kind of common knowledge now, but multitasking is not a real thing. I'll link to some blog articles in the description if you want to read more about this, but you're not multitasking. What's actually happening is your brain's rapidly switching between the two tasks. Like if you're texting and driving, you're not texting and driving. You're texting and driving, and your brain's just switching back and forth really fast. And if you think of your brain like a computer, there is a startup cost and a stopping cost every time you switch back and forth between those tasks. So it's less efficient to multitask versus just having a single-minded focus on one thing and getting that done. In most circumstances, if you have a guy who has like two things to do and he just focuses on one, gets that done, focuses on the other, gets that done, he's going to be faster than somebody who has two things to do and just keeps hopping back and forth between those tasks. But enough about the focus. Those are basically like the three things that I would recommend doing to start actually learning how to code, right? So one, treat it like a college class, take notes, refer to those notes when you build the project. Two, actually build projects based on what you learned. Don't go through like a whole 8-hour course and not build anything. If you go through, like, let's say you go through like a basic HTML stuff and you don't know CSS yet, all right, cool. Get a text editor, throw something cool together in HTML. It's not going to look cool because you don't have CSS, but make sure you throw some stuff on the screen and build some stuff on your own with it. It might not look cool. You might think it's a waste of time, but that's going to help with the repetition and help you get that down, help your brain say, all right, this is important. I need to remember this. And then thirdly, make sure you focus on what you're doing. Don't be watching the course and then have Instagram going, because that's also going to affect your ability to take notes on the course. So you're not going to have notes when you get to the project, and you're going to get to the project and be like, I don't know how to do this. Why didn't I listen to Garrett? Why didn't I take notes? But yeah, I think that's about it for this one. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If this helped you out or you got anything out of this, give me a thumbs up so YouTube knows I'm doing good stuff. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the awesome content I'm putting out. We do also have a Discord if you need to come talk to me or talk tech with any of the other aspiring developers in there. And also, if you do an HTML and CSS course and you build this Google homepage, come share it in the Discord. I would love to see that. And I can like point you to the next steps if you're kind of like lost on like where to go on this path, because it's like starting on your own and not knowing where to go, kind of a struggle. So happy to help out with that. Think that's about it for this one. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.